Okay, Mayor, I have been so excited to have you on. For one, my son is finally excited that I have someone that he can know and relate to. And you were so nice to him a minute ago. He got to talk to you. Thank you, Mayor, for stepping into the work advice basement. I'm excited that you're here today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And it was great meeting your son. It's always nice to meet a fan and somebody who's excited about me. So that was good. That was a win.
You are the second best Kristen in our life because my wife's name is Kristen. So you're the second best. You're like right there. You're the Kristen we like because you're the babysitter no one ever wants to hire. That's the. No, it is truly an honor to talk to you because I've watched with my son, not by myself. I mean, I've watched with my son. I think every video you've ever done on, we even watch Good Works. We watch Good Works.
You did? Oh,
yeah, and I want to talk about that later on because I really like it, and I love the cast. They're some of my favorite ex-Dharmans. That I mean, it's great. It's great. But I first want to know, like, what was it like for you, Mayor, growing up? What was your childhood like? What was little Mayor like?
Oh my gosh. Well, little Mair was painfully shy. Like, I would not believe that I am the person that I have become today based on like the type of person that I was growing up. I was very, very, very shy, incredibly self-conscious, really weird looking, very creative. I had like a cupboard under the stairs, so I related to Harry Potter very much, where not that I lived in, but that I would like do my little art projects and like record videos and write songs, and that was like my little safe place. I grew up with a lot of boys. I went to a daycare where I was the only girl for years.
Oh, wow.
So I definitely grew up that way, which kind of gave me like a tougher exterior, I would think. So like not, which is good. I'm not offended by very much. So that was a win. But yeah, I little me was very sweet and very just painfully shy and just this creative little thing. And then, teenage me was very rebellious. Very, very rebellious.
I never would have guessed that by the characters you play. I never would have guessed that. It's like, you rebellious? No. Like,
yeah.
I want to ask you about the shyness because I feel like I get that a lot. Like, there's people that come on here that you would think that would never be shy, and they are. It's weird. When you told your family, "Hey, I'm gonna move to," where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in Northern Virginia. I was born in Washington, D.C., and I grew up in a place called Vienna, Virginia. Okay. It's part of Fairfax County, right by Tyson's Corner. It's like call ourselves Nova kids, Northern Virginia.
Okay, so when you pitched to them you want to go to Hollywood and be an actor, like, did they see that coming as a child? Or were you planting the seeds as you got older?
They always knew. They always knew. They never wanted that for me. My parents, my dad was a commercial real estate broker. My mom worked for Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. So the entertainment was not something that was like that they wanted me to pursue. But they always knew that I would. And I, by the time I started out in the music industry before I was in acting.
Oh.
And by the time college would have come around for me, I had a development deal, and I was like, I'm and I ended up getting my first distribution deal, and I was like, I'm not going the college route. I'm gonna go the entertainment route. And so by the time I actually made the move to LA, I think they saw it coming, and they were actually happy for me. They were like, good, get out of here. If this is what you're going to do, then go be where it happens. Go make it happen. So yeah, I think they always saw the writing on the wall.
So you were a singer before you were an actor?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a failed musician. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could you, Could you sing songs in your Good Works accent? That's because you do a great job with
Oh,
the Irish accent. That's when it threw me off at first because I'm like, hold on a second, I've never heard that accent from her before.
oh
Maybe I
yeah.
missed it, but it was good. It was good. I was gonna ask you the whole interview that way.
All right, then. Yeah,
All
no,
right.
I don't think I could ever sing in an Irish accent. That character was really based off of a good friend of mine who actually was a fan of me when I in my music days, and we like
hmm
met online. She was following a catfish account of mine.
Wait. Hold on a second. Let's get to that. You had a catfish account. What is that? Like, explain to me. Because
it's an account where somebody makes pretends that they're you, and they might like get
oh
pictures of you and stuff. So somebody had like a
oh
fake
okay. I thought
account.
you created a catfish account for yourself.
No,
I
I
was
didn't
like,
make it. There was a catfish account about me, and she had been following it for a while, and she was like, I don't think this is the real person. So she found my real account, reached out to me, and she was this girl named Caradwyn from Ireland, and her and I became really good like online friends, and then we became even better like in-person friends. She like came and stayed with me for a while. It was really cool. So I was like, I'm gonna make a character based on you because I just think you're awesome and I love the way you talk. So
you do a great job, and now that you're my son's friend, I'm gonna ship him out your way. Okay?
okay, great.
Yeah,
I'll take them.
you can.
We take
He,
refugees around here.
he turns 11 in 10 days, so you'll have fun. I promise. As long as you have Fortnite, he'll be fine, and a basketball hoop and a football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got some
Yeah.
stuff.
So the catfishers, right? I'm so fascinated by someone that would catfish. That seems like a ton of work. More, you know what I mean? Like you're putting in a lot of time pretending to be somebody you're not.
Yeah. I mean, it's, but I'm an actor, so I don't have much room to talk, But yeah, it's the catfishing thing is strange. It's a weird thing. It's almost it's creepy because you don't know if it's a man, you don't know if it's a woman. It's somebody who creates kind of an obsession, whether a good obsession or they really dislike you and want to just make you look bad. Or maybe they want, to meet who you would meet. It's a weird thing. People do it. But it's a weird world that we live in.
That's just too much work. I have way too many things to do in life than to create a fake mayor. What if you were catfishing me right now, Mayor? What if this was fake Mayor on the phone with me right now?
You're talking about a deep fake. That's a
That's a
real thing.
oh, it's a deep fake.
I mean, I've seen some AI technology out there. You can create now. That's a lot of work to create the AI version that looks like a real person. They're out there. I don't have the time to do it, so or the know-how.
Have you seen the movie with Michael Keaton, Multiplicity?
Oh, you know what? I have not.
You have to watch that, Mayor, because I think about that a lot. I wish I could create a couple more Brads so that I could just hang out at home, chill, watch a lot of Mayor inspirational videos and reaction vids. And while the other Brad's working, the other Brad's podcasting, he's doing whatever. It doesn't matter. Golfing.
Yeah, sometimes we need to, we wear ourselves thin. You gotta branch out a little bit.
You do. So Mayor, you go to Hollywood. What was your first audition, and what was that like? I'm always fascinated to learn about the audition process.
I booked my very first audition, actually.
Does that happen normally? Does that
No.
happen a lot? It
No.
doesn't. Oh, good luck, charm.
No, it was beginner's luck. But then, I've done 1,000 auditions since then, probably 5,000 that I haven't booked. But it came at a point in my life, I needed something. I needed hope. And booking that gave me hope. It was for an Apple commercial. I had no idea. Well, I didn't know it was for an Apple commercial. I knew it was for a commercial. I knew it was for real massive Harry Potter fans. And that's what I was. In fact, I have a Harry Potter tattoo, and that's what booked me the job, right?
The tattoo? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have a lightning bolt tattoo. It's terrible. All my tattoos are terrible. This one in particular, because it looks more like the Flash than Harry Potter. But
what about the
Harry
finger
Potter
ones?
tattoo.
I see the finger tats in all your videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, she's got finger tats.
Yeah. I I don't have a lot of like, I never got like a sleeve. I never got tattoos on my legs or like on other parts of my body. I got it where I felt like it was like I was wearing jewelry, besides the neck, but I got them like, I have ankle tattoos, I have finger tattoos, and I have wrist tattoos.
Could the sleeve tattoo cost you a gig?
Absolutely.
That's a good way.
Absolutely.
That's a good reason not to get it, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're more popular now. You see people asking for that, but the problem with it is if you don't have like a signed release from the tattoo artist, which most people never get because you think, hey, I'm paying you to do a tattoo, like it's mine. But there's this weird line now where if it's being broadcast on television or like in a commercial somewhere on a television show, that's technically the artist's work and they need to get paid residuals on it.
What?
Yeah. So,
is that why they blur it out like on Top Chef and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I always just think it's like a naked boobs or something on their arm, and I'm like, we can't see that on TV. That's what I think.
No, it's usually everybody just has really provocative tattoos.
Yeah. CBS only brings in provocative tattoos for Big Brother. If you don't have a provocative, you're not getting you're not coming on Big Brother. That's what I think.
It's a thing, yeah. So that's why they blur them out. A lot of times, you have makeup artists will like modify them so that it's not technically the same artwork. But yeah, that can definitely cost you a job if you don't have the clearance to use it. Mm-hmm.
And there's some actors that are just covered in tattoos, and I guess they wear like long sleeves in every scene.
Yeah, they either get clearance. There's certain tattoos, like mine, are just shapes. So you can't like really copyright or claim that you're like an artist for that. But somebody who gets like a portrait done or something like that, and it's like an original piece of artwork is different. Yeah, you do have some people who are covered in tats. A lot of times they're covered up in shoots. You know, it takes time. That's kind of the biggest issue too, is if you need to cover the tattoos, it's very time consuming to do that. But it's, you know, there's makeup out there that is just fantastic. I've used it before, and yeah.
What's one thing you've auditioned for that you didn't get that you really thought you were gonna get?
Where do I start?
Oh, you start wherever.
Oh my goodness. I'm really trying to think something that I really thought. There have been several commercials where I was like, and it's always you know, when you're a commercial actor, your main goal is to like get one of the holiday commercials or Super Bowl, because the residuals on those are crazy, and you're like, okay, my year is made, I can pay rent, like I'm okay. I don't need to stress about the next job as hard. So everybody's always looking for that. I've done several where it's like, I just, you know, you get call back after call back, and you're like, okay, they really dig me. I'm right there. I'm feeling the vibe. And then you don't hear anything back, and you watching the commercial later on, and you see some girl who looks just freaking like you, like same hair, same everything. But I don't know, she had that one it factor that they were going for, and it wasn't you. So that's happened a bunch of times. And it's always a little bit heartbreaking to see, and you're just like, oh man, I was so close.
That could have been me.
He could have been me.
I would say that at every house. When I was watching the commercial, I would look at my wife and go, that could have been me.
Yeah, well, that's me. Every time I watch any commercial, basically. There's been I too many for me to even like put a count on. It's been a couple of films that I went out for pretty good roles in, where, you know, you think you're gonna get it, and then for whatever reason you just don't, but it feels good, and you keep getting called in, and then, you know, it just doesn't happen. But that's still a good sign. And a lot of times when you walk into, you can tell when you get the gig, a lot of times when you walk into the room. If the casting directors are excited to see you and they know your name, and they're, you know, and you have the director and you've got producers in the room as well, that's usually a really, really good sign. And there's been a couple of times where that's happened, where I'm just like, okay, I think I got it. And I did. But there's times where that happens and you think you're right there, and for whatever reason just doesn't pull through. So
Do people come up to you and pitch ideas to you a lot? Because I feel like that would happen.
yeah, well, yes. Now, not like so much random people on the street. I do
People,
get
I'm talking your
emails.
friends. Your friends.
Huh?
Your friends.
Oh, friends? Yeah, absolutely. All day long. All day long. I had like 3 ideas pitched to me today. Which
I'm
is
about to give
great.
you 4, by the way. I'm about to give you 4.
Okay.
Because you're
all
my
right, let's
friend
hear
now.
it.
I'm going to pitch it. But
Okay.
I'm gonna let you finish. So you have 3 ideas pitched to you today, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want 4?
I want 4. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, I pitched this to Christine Lakin. Do you know her? She was on Step by Step.
Okay.
She's been on the show like 3 times. I pitched this to her.
I just am so bad with names, but I know if I saw her face, I'd be like, oh my God, yeah.
You know her. Follow her on Instagram. She's great. I pitched this idea. My wife says it's crazy. Christine didn't like it. She was like, I think it's a little too rough. Okay, this is a Christmas movie in a small town.
Okay.
I want this. I think this is Lifetime or Hallmark. One of the two, Mair. A guy is paid to kill someone.
Oh, okay.
He goes to the town, snipes someone, right? Comes back a year later, cuts to the year later. He's there to snipe again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he goes to the memorial service of the guy he killed. Meets the girl who runs the bakery. They fall in love. She has a friend who doesn't quite trust him. Starts doing the research. This guy seems a little sus. We gotta research him. I don't know. They're falling in love, right?
Yeah.
He knows he's got to do another sniping.
Yeah.
He finds out he sniped her husband. So now he's got to snipe her dad. So now he's just basically sniping the whole family. So then the guy who pays him figures out he's not going to snipe the dad who owes all this money. He ends up confessing to the girl he's the one that sniped her husband. She still says, I love you, because he rolls out a whole spreadsheet of everything her husband did wrong. She's like, well, he was a bad guy. Yeah, you're a good guy. Even though we're watching Hallmark. They fall in love. End of movie. Christmas Town Sniper. Go.
Okay. First of all, I love it. I think it's great.
You're just saying that. It's fine.
Okay. No. I truly think it's great, because here's the thing about movies. It's all about conflict, right? Whoever has the most conflict, that's what you need in a movie. Conflict. You just got conflict on conflict on conflict. It's great. You do. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And honestly, I think you're pitching to the wrong market. I don't know if it's a Hallmark. I think it's called Sniping or Christmas Sniping, and I think it's a comedy.
That's what I'm saying. It's basically making fun of the holiday movies with some guy stuff sprinkled in for the ladies to enjoy the romance.
I think that's a Netflix special. I think that's
Boom. Let's do it, Mair. Let's do it. Me and you knock it out. See, you got 4 ideas pitched to you today. Hopefully mine is at least the 3rd best. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly,
my wife says it's a stupid idea. So, hey, I mean, but she likes Gilmore Girls. So, I mean, what do we.
Well, okay, so then you got to think about your audience, though, right? So if you're pitching it as like, this is a romantic, sweet, family-friendly film, but we got snipers, then your audience is automatically like, I don't know. But if you go to like some sick, twisted people who have like a really dark sense of humor, and you're like, yo, Christmas with snipers, they're like, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Christmas snipers. That Mark Wahlberg movie that just come out on Apple, where he's like this assassin that is now living the suburban life, and he's trying to hide his Boston accent because he lives in Buffalo, which is not believable. And I mean, he's a sniper, but we see a movie. He's like taking his family and running to Vegas. So, I mean, it's not a bad movie. So
family-friendly snipers,
yeah. So you got an idea pitched to you. Feel free to do what you want to do with that idea.
I think it's great. Honestly.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to tell my wife that when we hang up. I'm like, Mair likes the idea. Boom, and then she'll be like, "You're still an idiot." Okay, Mayor. So I want to get to this because I was first introduced to you in Darman,
Mhm.
and a lot of people that I know do not know who Darman is. They don't know the videos. I was first introduced to Darman by watching Sniper Wolf.
Yeah.
Do so
Speaking of
so
snipers,
yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of snipers, I'm transitioning to Sniper Wolf,
Hmm.
and I've watched your reaction vids to Sniper. It's funny. I enjoy them. You on your on your YouTube channel. Uh, I watched the Thanksgiving Darman, and I was like, I would never watch this. I said I would never watch it if it wasn't Sniper Wolf like making jokes throughout it. But then I got hooked. It was like a drug. I was like, I got to test this Darman thing out. Next thing you know, my son and I, every night at 8 o'clock, we would sit on the couch and watch a Dar. Right, that was our move. You were there 4.5 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. How many videos did you do? I know you have the number in your head.
On IMDb, I think I'm credited for 65, but I know it's a lot closer to like between 80 and 100.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
amazing. That is a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's good work because you were great. I'm telling you, when you play Kristen the babysitter, top notch. I love
Thank you.
it, and you are made for this podcast because I have the mind of a 12-year-old and the sense of humor of a 12-year-old. And the one episode, Mayor, when you are the bad roommate and
Mm.
she gives you X-Lax and you basically crap yourself is
Yeah.
hilarious to me. Like, you're not afraid to do that. I like that. You're like, yeah, I take a dump. So what? You're like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's acting, so you want to make it believable, you want to make it funny. I mean, as it's actually funny, and when in that scene, so it's all set, so it's like, you're on a set, so it's a fake apartment and it's a fake bathroom and everything.
mm-hmm.
But my boys Carlos and Chaz were on set filming a different video on a different lot that day, and they watched me do that scene. They filmed me doing it. So
Oh my
as
gosh.
like what you're seeing from the camera, they're sitting right there watching me like 4 feet away as we're filming that the pooping my pants scene.
Man, that's funny.
So yeah, no, you gotta have fun with it. Like, yeah, the videos, to be honest with you, when they first came out, we were working on a very tight budget. We were always working on a tight budget. Eventually that budget grew and most people didn't see any of it except for the top. But
Well, I do want to get into that because I'm fascinated by that also. I think that's really crappy. But yes, go.
but yeah, it was, they were, rinky dink little things. And I was pretty mortified to find out that people were watching them. I didn't
A
realize,
lot of people.
like a lot, yeah, like a lot of people. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. But there was a market for it and people seemed to like it, and there were people who were making fun of it and people who weren't. And it was just kind of like, okay, it is what it is. I liked who I was working with, so I just kept doing it. And the production value kept getting better and better and better and better and better as it was going along. The scripts never really got that much better, but because there were different directors who were starting to be brought in, they allowed us to play and have, depending on who the director was, they would give you a little bit more room to kind of improvise or have fun with it. Because a lot of times it was like, look, this isn't believable. If I play this straight, it's going to come off as bad. If I play it funny, it might come off as good. Like there's a chance. Not always, but there's a chance. And so that's what me and several of the other actors tried doing at a certain point. We were just like, hey, we've been doing this a long time. If we really try to once again play it too straight, I think it's going to not come off. It's going to come off really cheesy and just not great. But I loved being able to play with characters like the bad roommate and even Kristen, because Sean, the little actor who I was babysitting, Sean Dixon, he's great. He's a funny guy. So when we were allowed
That's
to
Jay,
play
right?
and have fun, it
That's
was good.
Jay. Isn't that Jay?
Yeah. He plays
That's
Jay.
Okay, Mikey would be in prison at this point. Like he does things like if my son was like amazingly bad. I can't even imagine his mom falls for it every time. I'm so shocked. Like, why are you falling for this? Uh, Mayor, has that ever happened to you before, though? Has someone X-laxed your food in real life?
I wouldn't say X-laxed. No. I mean, that's a dark rabbit hole that you're going down. I've been in the entertainment industry a long time. So yeah, there's been stuff put in food, but not X-lax.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I had Amelia Milo on. She is the Phantom lead in Phantom of the Opera in Italy. And I
Wow.
asked her about the understudy move. And I was like, have they ever X-laxed you so they could then get on stage? She said, no, that doesn't happen.
Whoa.
Yeah, think about it. Like, you've got imagine if you had a little Mair that wanted to be in the Dharman video as Kristen, and she X-laxes you, you're sick, you can't go, she gets the role. Boom.
Never thought of that. Never crossed my mind, but that's terrifying and like potentially real. Wow.
Yeah. And I've never even had X-lax in my life. I'm almost 45. I've never done X-lax before. I'm just confessing that to anyone listening right now. I don't know what it's like. It seems bad. I've seen you go through it on Dharman, but I don't think I want to go through that at all. I just think it's bad.
Well, I don't think it acts that quickly. You know, that was like a real instantaneous, like, oh, I gotta go. But I think it takes a little more time.
You got to be near a bathroom regardless. You can't be on a date.
No.
You can't be in the one Dharman restaurant that they always they got two restaurants, the nice one and the cafe. That's where that's where it happens. Okay. So Dharman. One, I learned about the protest. Please do not judge me on this, Mayor, please. I learned about I can't even believe I'm admitting this to you. I learned about the protest by watching Samir.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Because Samir did a protest episode about Dharman.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know that. That's
You got to go back and watch that, Mayor. You got to watch it.
Wow.
They make Dar out to be a monster. And it was funny. So my son and I are watching it. That's when we got hooked on Samir. So we go from the gateway, from Dharman to Samir. Now we're watching Totally
Studios. Yeah.
Totally Studios.
Yeah.
That's where we see you in all of them. So that makes us happy. We know you're working. We're so glad because my son's like, there's Kristen. We got to watch it.
Aw. That's, you know what? I'm glad for that. Because here's the thing. I was kind of like, so the protests were a year ago. And it's kind of repopulated for whatever reason. So people are like asking me about it as if it's new, like as if it's going on right now. So no fault to you for not knowing about it at all. But yeah, like unless you followed the actors, by the way, you probably wouldn't have known about it. So yeah, I tried kind of to not do any of that type of stuff. One, I was working on good work, so all my attention was really there. And two, there was like strikes going on in the industry, and it was like kind of everybody's turning down work. But I was also like, I don't really want to do that type of content anymore. And my girl, Sarah Maliski, who, she also plays a bad babysitter, the other blonde one.
Yes.
She's like one of my best friends. And she was like, look, I work for all these other studios. These guys are dying to get you to come in. Like, you should just do an episode, do them with me. It'll be fun. And I was like, I don't really want to do that type of content. She's like, it's not the same vibe. She's like, you should just come in. And so I did. And like at Totally Studios, it is the weirdest experience you will ever have on a quote unquote film set in your entire life. But Joey, the owner, is phenomenal. He's really sweet. They pay you very well. They are respectful towards you. He'll eat lunch with you. Like everybody's just chatting, and they know it's a joke. No, they know that these are not serious situations. They're not trying to be like, we're changing lives. They're like, no, we're making content and we're getting paid to do it. You know, like it's not taken too seriously. And most of the other channels out there are the same way, and the people who run them feel the same way, and they're not like kind of pretentious and being like, oh, we're saving the world and making millions of dollars. You know, it's not like that. So I kind of actually enjoyed the experience, and then I was happy that the fans had something to continue seeing me in. So
Well, yeah, Totally Awesome is. It looks like it's done in front of a green screen. Do you do this in your apartment, or do you shoot your Totally Awesome right there? It's like,
I don't know that he would want me to disclose exactly.
You don't have to. You don't have to. Don't disclose it. I don't want you to get.
I won't disclose it. It is actually not a green screen.
Oh.
It's absolutely bizarre. It is so strange, but it's actually brilliant if you are somebody who's trying to make a lot of content really fast and streamline it as much as humanly possible. He has a really good system for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I was blown away. Sarah and we carpool to the studio together, and she's like, listen, I'm just warning you, everything that you've ever learned about acting, throw it out the window, okay? Don't expect that. It's not like, she's like,
but that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, she's like, take it for what it is. We're just gonna have fun today. And I was like, okay, cool, like, sure. So yeah, but it's very fun.
She's in our top 5 too. We love what she does, what she did on Dharman. It was good. Like, she always did good work. The Totally Studios is fun. It is, and I like the transition because you'll be watching one, and then it just in the middle like transitions to something else in the episode. It's so funny to me. My son's like, "Oh yeah, this is what they're gonna do now," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I'm totally thrown off.
Yeah, we are too. Yeah, we don't know.
And I'm always like, are they in the same room together? Because it would be like me and you talking, and I would say, Mair, I have Christmastown Sniper, and then a pause, and you go, I like Christmastown Sniper. I love the charm of it because it's so you can tell they just want to have fun, and I like that.
Yeah, it is. I think the issue, what happens sometimes is like you do have actors come in who like take it seriously, because you have like, you know, there's a lot of trained actors in LA who are like, look, you know, they're excited to be on a film set for something that gets a lot of views, you know, so they get in there and it's like, okay, this is my moment, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Just have fun. It'll come off so much better. And the actors who do that tend to tell a little bit of a better story. It's a learning curve, you know, it's a learning process, but yeah.
So when you protested and you were done protesting, I bet that was kind of a relief for you, right? Because you're like, I put 4.5 years into this. I'm tired of dealing with this jerk, you know, because I watched you talk about it, and it was fascinating to me to learn the details of it. Because in any business, even where I work, like, we get a cost of living increase, but to hear you say people on the Dharman set have roommates, like, that would drive me crazy. Like, I don't want to live with somebody. I love living with my wife, but I don't want to live with anybody else. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we live in Los Angeles, most of us. Well, all of us, honestly. And to be honest, it's a very expensive place to live. If you're not on like a sitcom or, you know, or like a series regular for a network, you're going to have roommates, because it's just it's an expensive place to live for the most part. But you have people who have like a lot of roommates who are not living comfortably, who can't pay rent and buy groceries. And it's just crazy to me that it's a series that is getting more views than most sitcoms, than most syndicated shows. And there is a lot of money in YouTube. There's a lot of money in the ad revenue. And listen, I was a part of it for a long time because I was happy to see the growth. I was happy to see, we went from an apartment to a studio to 2 studios. When I got to 3 studios, I was pissed. I was kind of like, okay, that's enough. When are you going to start taking care of your actors?
What's the 3rd studio? What is that? What's inside there that I've seen? Is it
That's the shopping mall. The freaking shopping mall.
Oh,
Was
that one?
built to impress Mr. Beast so that they could do an episode about being in a shopping mall. Like, I was in that episode too.
Did Mr.
Like,
Beast, was he on it?
he was in it. I don't know if he filmed his part. I don't think he filmed his parts at the studio in LA. We filmed ours, and then they filmed it at his studio, which he's in South Carolina.
When Sniper came on, do you get to see her, or is it like we're bringing her in with Dar?
I've never met her. A couple of people have gotten to act with her before.
She can't act, by the way.
I know. Well, yeah, I said act.
She's terrible. Like, she's worse she's the worst. She's the worst.
Yeah.
It's for me. You don't have to say it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I agree. I mean, she's not an actor. She's a personality. But yeah, there was definitely, and this happened with most of the collabs, like your influencer collabs.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we frozen?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So this happened with most of the like influencer collabs. When they would come in, they're treated very, and I think it's all good for treating your guests properly, right? But very much like, you don't need to talk to these peons. You don't need to be around them. You have your separate area. Nobody bother them. Nobody do this thing. And I'm like, dude, we're the main cast members, dude. People know us. Like, don't treat me like that. I'm not going around being like, I'm better than everybody else, but like, at the same time, just have respect for the people who have been here for a long time. I'm not an extra. I'm in the scene with you.
100%.
I've been on massive film sets, massive commercials with major A-list talent, and none of them have ever treated me that way. Ever.
That would be like going on the set of Friends as a guest star, and them going to all the cast of Friends going, hey man, this guy, don't even talk to him, right? Like, don't even associate with. It's crazy. I don't understand
legitimately.
That. Yeah, because y'all are Dharman. Everyone on Good Works are great in their Dharman roles. I mean, they're perfect. To lose them, he had to take a hit, man, because it's crazy. And I was wondering where you've been. That's how slow I've been. I'm like, I haven't seen her. When are we getting a new one? Dar, what's going on here? Why are you not giving us a Kristen part 3? We need to see it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it wasn't. There was a lot that kind of was leading up to that. It did get to the point where it had grown so much and it had become so big. And at that point it was like, look, and I've talked to this with so many other studio, like people who run those other, like, Totally Studios and even Samir and stuff. And they're like, hey, we thought you guys were on payroll. Like, why didn't he have you guys, like your set cast of like, this is my star talent. I'm going to make sure they don't work for any other competing studios. I'm going to make sure that they are set, take care. Like, nobody's asking for anything crazy. Not in any way, shape, or form. Nobody was even asking to get rich. They were just like, hey, can we make sure that we have, guaranteed work, or that we're going to, not just get replaced right away for asking for a little bit more than nothing, or next to nothing. So, yeah, it was crazy. And that was bothering me for a while. And I was like, that's a conversation that definitely needs to be had. But then there was the live events, and I was like, oh, this person is really trying to push themselves as like this moral guru, motivational speaker. Mm-hmm. And that is so not who they are. Mm-hmm. That is just, it really grossed me out. That was kind of like the last straw for me. I was like, I can't be a part of this anymore. I'm willing to see if like they would have a conversation about different rates or different payouts. I don't think that ever, based on how I view this person and how they've shown themselves to be to me thus far, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think they care. But yeah, I was really grossed out by that.
You never got like a thank you, or, thanks for what you gave us to the company. Cause you did. I would love to know this, Mair, and I bet or you could find out how many total views your 100 videos amassed for that company? I bet it's well over 100 million.
Billions.
Billion. Okay, so billions. I don't know the algorithms of YouTube. I don't know how
Yeah.
it's paid, but that's a lot of money, I'm sure. Because Mr. Beast is like gold standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot. And it's like you just get ignored. It's so weird to me. The whole like I don't know. And he's got the money. That's not the issue.
No, there was a very specific design. And now I think that he actually did like me more than most people.
Mhm.
That just wasn't like good enough for me to be like, "Oh, I'm teacher's pet." That wasn't I'm like, "Look, this is a business, dude. I'm in this industry for like a reason. When I do a commercial, they use my face for like 0.2 seconds. I get paid for that, And we're getting paid for our, hourly rate, which is ridiculous. It should always be a day rate. But we're getting paid for that. But when you're seeing this many times over and over and over again, if you're not going to do some sort of residual, then there has to be some sort of buyout. I can't leave my house without somebody attaching me to your brand. This is crazy at this point. It's crazy, but it was very, very deliberate in the reason why there's so many actors. It has nothing to do with trying to give new actors a shot. Nothing to do with it. It is to remind those who have been acting with him for a while, you are replaceable, and there's 1,000 people lined up to take your spot. So don't ask for too much. That is
Wow.
incredibly deliberate. Yeah.
Because there's a few on there that are that is there like a pecking order where you get like you weren't the teacher's pet, right? But you might get a script ahead of another person because you've been around. That happens, right?
Yeah, I never had to, after I initially got cast in the first video I ever did with them, I never had to audition again. Most people did. They would have to audition for their roles after, once they got to a certain level. It was just, hey, we got this for you. And, and that's nice. Honestly, not having to audition was that was great. I was very happy to just have somebody be like, we know you can do it. Cool. Here's your role. Yeah, you get that. There's definitely a pecking order. There's a difference in pay based on who's been around longer. But not much, not a whole lot to write home about.
Wow.
But you were still very much treated like, and you get a rapport with people. So you get a rapport with the directors, you get a rapport with the crew. So it feels like a home. And the longer you've been around and the more friends you have, like you're the cool kid in school. You know what I mean? But when it came to like who's at the top, they were always gonna let you know that you were not there. That you were lucky to be in their presence, lucky to be here at all, lucky to be working. And like sometimes you would get oh my God, you were so great in that video. Like Dar and I were very friendly. We were very friendly. We were we had a good rapport. But I just saw through it. It was very I don't know. It was like, okay, but if you were actually like this good guy, like it's easy to be nice to somebody for 5 seconds in an office. But if you were really a good guy, you would be open to having this conversation about, hey, we need to talk shop. Anybody would be okay with that, especially if you've been working with someone for 4.5 years. That's crazy.
A long
That's
time.
more than like a college education. And can you imagine if your professor refused to talk to you after class? Sorry, no, I don't do that. What?
But that's you just talked about Totally Studios, and Jay. I guess Jay runs Totally.
Joey.
Joey. He eats with you. Like he's genuine, and that's pretty. And I would imagine Samir's that way.
He is.
He seems okay. Samir, I love Samir videos because his videos are bonkers, man. They are funny. Like the first ever Samir my son and I watched was the one where he dookied and they ate the duke. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy just doesn't care. He did a whole. Have you seen that one? You got to watch it.
Okay, so I've never. I'm gonna be honest. I know who Samir is because he reached out to me after everything happened. He's like, I would love to do a collab, and I just wasn't in the space to do it. And then I eventually was just like, okay, cool, like, because he hit me up again, and I was like, sure, why not, so I just did a video with him. It was a very bottom of the line type of production. I had never really like seen his videos. I knew essentially like the type of style that they were. And I was just like, I kind of want to see what the vibe is. So I did. And he's a nice guy who is just like, hey, like, this is for YouTube. Like, we're not trying to make any $1 million productions here. Like, we're just kind of having fun with it. And as long as the story gets across, like, we don't really care. And we're down to like be like wild, and they don't take themselves seriously.
No.
And that's what I like. I was like, okay, cool.
If you're listening, people are listening right now. The video she's in is funny because you basically foster a kid and you have a kid, and you tell the foster kid, "I'm just gonna let you die." But I love Samir because you're in like his living room because you see his family photos on the wall, which is so funny to me.
He doesn't care. There's no like set. There's no set design. There was one where like we're in like a bedroom and it's supposed to be like a hospital room. And he's like, we'll just like have the conversation on the air. Like there's like this air mattress in there. And I was like, you don't, what?
My son goes, that looks like a bedroom, Dad. I'm like, yeah, it definitely is. Like, and then at the end, the twist is your son dies.
Yeah.
It's a sad one. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, Samir.
Yeah.
He does the. Yeah.
I didn't gone in a habit with these types of videos where I don't read the script. I just get on set and I'm like, okay, I know, I get it. Like, what are we doing here? What's the scenario? Let's go. And like, I'm really good at memorizing things, so I can learn really. I'll look at something one time and just be like, okay, cool, I've got it.
I wish I had that. I wish I had your skill. I do.
It's been developed. It's like been a necessity where like you just don't have the time to take to memorize things, so I just have to like figure it out and adapt. But yeah, it was weird, and I didn't read the script, and he was like, well, because at the end, and I was like, I don't want to be rude and be like, no, I don't know, because I didn't read it.
That's kind of a power move though, Mair. Like, you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna read this crap, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna bring it. And you bring it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, I don't need that's a power move. It really
thank
is.
you.
At least he didn't cast you in eating the dookie, because that was a bonker. You got to research that one and watch it.
I'm gonna look that up, actually.
It's about a kid that gets bullied, right? I'm not gonna blow it for you. The whole gist is the kid gets bullied, and the bully poops in the kid's face. And so then you fast forward. Now the kid who was bullied is the teacher. Watch it and let me know your thoughts on this, because it is amazing. And my son and I were like, we got to watch every Samir now. And I try to skip the ones where they're like having affairs with a bunch of people with him. I don't want watching that, but because he does a lot of that, and I'm like, you can't watch that. So I don't want. But some of them are. It is amazing. You have to go search it. The bully eats dookie or gets dookied on.
So when I went to his house, they has this wall with all like the YouTube plaques, right? And I'm looking on it, and I was like, you got like a bunch of other channels that you do? And he was like, yeah, I had this, me and my buddy Louise had this channel, something about like To Catch a Cheater or something like that. And I was wow. So Life Lessons with Louise was like Samir's partner. So they're like really good friends. And they were doing a channel together that was very successful. And then they saw these DAR videos, and they were like, dude, we can do that. So they both branched out to create their own like DAR-esque channels.
At the end of the day, I think they're better than DARs, Mair. I think they're better because they're not like so high and mighty.
That's the thing. You can't be all high and mighty and like we're changing lives when you're not. You're changing your pocket. That's it. Like that's it. It's just Yeah, it's so bizarre. It's so weird, but
that is
it's
funny. And that I know what wall you're talking about because it made a cameo in your video. Because I said I paused it and I said, Max, look at those YouTube. It's like what you got behind you right there. They're all on his wall, right?
Yeah, but like a bunch of them, like for different
like, Max,
channels.
check out his YouTube. I guess this mom is big on YouTube with her dying son.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Mair, you got to do a deep dive into Sameer because it is next level fun for me. He does one where wife holds in fart the whole marriage.
What? That's genius. What?
Yes. He does another one where husband farts and dies. Wife farts and dies. Bully fart or kid farts in front of her. He does a lot of farting. So I'm like, hey man, Sameer's like my kind of dude because I joke about farts all the time. So like, me and my son, we're hooked. If it says fart, we're watching. He does. You've got to do a deep dive into Sameer.
I am, and I'm actually really bummed that he didn't ask me to do a farting one because that's my jam.
You have tape. You have tape now of that. So
I have that on tape. Yeah. In fact, I should put it in my reel. I should put that in my acting reel and send it to the big Hollywood directors. Be like, listen, guys, I can take a dump on camera if you need it.
I can take a dump. Mair, let me pitch this to you because I feel like we're friends now. I have this plan. This is my power move. And tell me if you think it's a power move or not. When we're traveling road tripping with the fam, right? We're driving. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking a dump in a McDonald's. It's not happening. I don't want to do that.
Right.
My move is, feel free to steal this. Give this to anybody you know. I pull into the hotels off the interstate. I go in, I sip the waters, I use the bathroom, act like I stay there for a minute, come out, get in the car, boom, we're going. I'm like, that's a power move.
That's a power move. And that's a really good move, too. Yeah.
It is. It's cleaner. It's way cleaner.
Way cleaner. And honestly, there's a lot of McDonald's that they're like, you need to buy something first. And I'm like, you're freaking McDonald's, dude. No, yeah. I feel you on that.
Feel free to steal that.
They're like, we're good. Have some coffee while you're at it, you know?
Yeah. I'm walking in Memphis one night. We stop in a hotel downtown. I go in there, use it, and then get the nice water, the lemon water. You know, they have those in nice hotels. Yeah. And you act like you stay there, and then you get back, and you end up at your Best Western. That's the move.
Great.
It's like, but my wife thinks it's crazy, but that's another power. I'm like, power move, honey. Power move.
We're all about the power moves. We're not reading scripts, and we're pooping in hotels. Yes.
I like that. Feel free to share that. Are you married? Got a boyfriend? What's the status here?
I do have a boyfriend. I've locked him out of the room right now. So he, right on this other side of me, with like two massive monitors. He's a television producer. He's editing Jersey Shore right now.
Oh, wow. Are they still doing that?
Yeah, it's called Family Vacation now.
Oh, okay.
So he's working on that. And I kicked him out for a little bit. I feel bad.
He can come in. It's no big deal.
I know.
How'd y'all meet? I'm curious. How'd y'all meet?
Oh, really funny story. I moved into the apartment building the apartment right on top of his.
Okay.
And we have like an outdoor staircase situation. So his window, his editing bay faces outside. And, he saw me moving in and moving stuff, and he just fell in love.
Please tell me he said, "You're Dharman. You're Kristen, right?"
He had never ever heard of this, and our first date, we got a little bit tipsy that night. We had a really good time, and so then we went out to have breakfast the next morning, and I am violently hungover.
Okay.
I am not feeling great. And we live right by Venice Beach in California. So, okay. We're out walking around. It's a beautiful day. Trying to, get some fresh air. And these kids run up and they're like, "Oh my God!" And they want to take pictures and stuff, which is great. And I love doing that. But it was funny because he was like, "What was that?" And I'm having him hold the camera and take the pictures with the family and stuff. And so he had no clue at all.
Wait, you didn't drop that at all on your date? That's a great move. That's a power move.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm not
I
gonna
didn't say
brag about
anything.
being Kristen. And I think it's good. Does he have children or no children?
No children.
So he doesn't need to know Darman, because I think it would be weird if I was a 44-year-old man just tuning into Darman by myself. You got to have a kid present. I think that's your ticket in.
Yeah, it does make more sense if you have a kid present. But there is actually an older audience for it too. Over the years, it's gotten younger and younger. But when it first started, it was more for adults because it was more about like cheating and relationships and gold diggers. So I was the gold digger before I was
Oh,
Kristen.
I do like your gold digger move.
Yeah.
I remember I forgot about the gold digger vids. Those are great.
Yeah, those are the classics. Yeah.
That's like Darman original OG Darman right there.
Yeah.
And I will say, I don't want us to hang up without saying Colin is great too. Like he is like in the Mount Rushmore. You and him are Mount Rushmore Darmans for my son and I. Like,
Aw.
he's a great dad on there. He's a calm dad.
Colin is one of the most underrated actors I've ever met in my entire life. He is a powerhouse because, yeah, he does play a really sweet, wonderful dad. That's kind of him in real life. He, in real life, is a dad, and he is wonderful. And his relationship with his kids and his wife, he's just an absolute gem of a human being. But he's a phenomenal director. He's a phenomenal writer. He's a great editor. Had no idea he could edit. And he can play a wonderful villain. Like, he can play any role that you give him. He's a chameleon. He really is great. Yeah.
Could he play the sniper in Christmas Town Sniper?
I think he would be great because you would never, ever think that it was him.
No, because he's so nice, and you could be the shopkeep, the bakery lady.
Yeah, I could work at the bakery, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, you sniped my husband? I kind of like that.
That's kind of that's attractive. I like that. You've killed him. He's a dirtbag. I thought he wasn't a minute ago, but now that you presented your spreadsheet, he definitely is a dirtbag. Well, a couple more questions for you. I want to find out, when you left Dar, I'm sure you had friends. Did any of them just go, we're never speaking to you again? Like, I don't care.
Absolutely.
That sucks.
Not really.
I guess not, because you find out their true allegiance, right?
Yeah, you're kind of like, oh, okay, so we weren't really friends. Yeah, there are definitely people like that. I mean, there's a lot of, you know what was really sad? And we're still friends. We really are. One of the lead directors, his name is Rushi, and he's just a gem of a human being. I love him. He was our first big director that they got, who really took production up to another level and really allowed us to have fun with the scripts. And he's just so much fun to work with. And he's a really hard worker. He, he has a full-time job as a director there. And that's really hard to find in Hollywood. And he's from India, and he had just gotten married, and his wife had just come over here. So it was one of those things where it's like, he's not going to give up that full-time gig, and nobody expected him to. But he was having a wedding. We got uninvited to the wedding because Dar was going to show up. And that's fine. You don't need any drama on that day. And that's his employer and stuff. So I get it. But yeah, I miss hanging out with him. I miss seeing him, every week or however often I was in there. But yeah, I mean, there's actors, but I don't care. I'm not the people who, I was meant to keep in my life. I did. And that's all that matters,
I guess you just always got to remember, what happens in the dark always comes to the light.
It does. That's a great button.
But I watched you talk. I watched you talk on YouTube with what's the guy that did he did like a 29-minute video on the whole Darman thing, and you were like, he couldn't have said it better than me. You did like a reaction video to what he was saying.
Oh, Jarvis Johnson.
He did a great job, and he laid it out. And I saw another actor from Darman explain the pay, and I was like, that's crazy. You lock in for 5 days, you don't know what you're doing, and then he holds you to that, and you can't book another job. Then you end up making like $140 for the whole week for 5 days. That is sad. That is like, you can make more at McDonald's in California.
Yes. Yeah.
especially that one lady wants to give $50 minimum wage, which is crazy. But that would
Yeah.
Dar
You
would go
know,
out of
and so
business at that
you
point.
have some people who are, you know, getting like what, 45 or 50 an hour or something like that. So when you put it out there and you're like, they're making this much every hour, you're like, yeah, but that's the top tier people. There's very few people who are making that much, and they're not working, you know, 12-hour days all like every day of the week. You know, they might get that for like 2 hours and that's it. And then that video goes on to make how much and get how many views and be re-released how many times on how many other platforms. It's not right. And the whole actors, like the Actors Guild, Screen Actors Guild of America, they all went on strike like 2 or 3 months after us, because they were fighting for the same things against these massive, massive networks and streaming platforms. So we're, you know, it's not, what we were asking for wasn't crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And those Amazon, Disney, all of those guys, they had meetings with those guys. They came to an agreement. They were like, we don't want to lose you. We did not get that same courtesy.
He wouldn't even show up in the meeting. Y'all just were sitting there like, I guess he's not coming. That had to be so I would have been so mad if my boss can't even take the time to give me 10 minutes just to hear my
Right.
heart, just to hear
Right.
what I want. And that happens. Money becomes the greed for the guy who's in charge. He doesn't want to lose it. It happens a lot. It's really sad.
It's really sad, and it wouldn't have really been something that would have affected his lifestyle. It was just the fact of the matter was, you are disposable, and I don't care. And that was it, you know.
He had to, you know, he uses the same portion every video. So I mean, you got the portion, and he had to add a new car to the thing, so to the shows. Do they have another? I don't even know. But anyway, are we going to see you? What's next for you? And will we see you more in Totally Studios, or are you going to do Samir again? And I know what's next is you and your boyfriend are going to watch the taking a dump video on Samir and let me know how that goes.
We definitely are. Well, okay, so I don't know if I'll do Samir again. Potentially, we'll see. I haven't even watched the video that I did, so we'll see how that turned out.
It turned out good.
It did.
It turned out good. I liked it.
For Totally Studios, I'm sure I'll do more there. Sarah and I are going to be doing a lot more of our own stuff. So on my YouTube channel, I'll have a lot more coming out. Probably more parody comedy videos.
I like that.
Oh, are you guys Star Wars fans?
My son, no. Here's the thing about Star Wars, Mayor. I watched the first ones, went to the theater to see the next three in the late 90s, early 2000s. By then I was like, oh my God, I don't like these movies. But I'm a completist, so I then had to grind through the next trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel good now. I'm not branching out to Disney. I'm not watching the Boba Fett's and I'm like, you know what? Mayor can judge me, but I'm not doing it. I'm not. But you are in a Star Wars movie, right? A short film.
It's a short. It's technically a fan film, but it's based. It takes place in the world of the original trilogies. So like Return to the Jedi, it's back.
Okay, I want to watch this
during that time. I would highly recommend watching it. It's probably the best fan film ever made. The reason being, the guys who did it all work on Star Wars. They all are either characters in The Mandalorian, or they do costume and set design, that type of thing. So these guys really know what they're doing. They're absolutely phenomenal, and they're fans of the original trilogy, which is why they started doing this spin-off series that could take you back to that world. That's, you know, they're not talking smack on Disney because most of them work for Disney, but they're you know, they like the originals the best. So
where, if people are listening, where can they watch these at?
It's on YouTube. It's called Sands of Fate, a Star Wars story.
I'll link it in the show notes.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that.
Awesome.
Plus, we're a big fan of you, though, so we like anything you're in that
Thank
my
you.
son can watch. I know there's some that you've been in. The Eric Roberts movie, probably not so much for my son.
Right. Yeah. Maybe. Oh, I'm doing a commercial with him next month, so
Oh,
that'll be
okay.
fun. Yeah.
He is the father of Emma Roberts, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the brother of Julia.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure. I like
And
that.
he's in the show Uncut Gems. Or no, not Uncut Gems. Righteous Gemstones. And he's hilarious in that. It's very, very good.
I like that show. I watched the first season and a half. I need to complete it. I just talked about being a completist, and I haven't finished the Gemstone.
So
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay, I think it's the greatest show ever made, in my opinion.
I think Larry David is just brilliant. He's one of a kind, man.
I have this thing, and I pitched this to my wife one time. I pitched it to you, Mair. I wish there was an episode because I could see this happening. Because I get tired, like if you sneeze, I get tired of going, God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you. I get tired of that. I wish we could start a pre-bless. Like, I meet you, Mair. You know what? I'm pre-blessing you for every future sneeze you do in my presence, Mair. And you go, why are you going to say, God bless you? I'm like, no, I pre-blessed you 5 years ago. You're forgetting. I wish...
That's a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode right there.
I think so. Larry pre-blesses, and then at the end they're mad because he didn't pre-bless. They want him to pre-bless, and he refuses to do the blessing. And they're like, "You got to bless her." He's like, "Nah, I pre-blessed her 10 years ago. I'm not blessing again." Well, you get one blessing, Mair. One.
To go the rest of the time. I think that's brilliant. Look, I think you've got some great ideas. You know.
Thank you, Mair. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Mair. I like that you think I do, but you're just saying that because you're on here right now, and then
no, I really believe it. You know, if it was lame, I would tell you. You know, but I like your ideas. I think they're pretty good.
Well, my wife tells me I'm lame, but she loves me, so that's a good thing.
Right. Well, once
she's
again,
like, that's a lame
talking
idea.
To like a slight degenerate, so I have a different sense of humor.
A slight degenerate who gets X-laxed and cannot and does drugs while babysitting. I mean, that's the...
Exactly.
Hey, will you come babysit my 11-year-old as Kristen? That's the move.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. We should start like a documentary series, like a prank series.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
Babysitting people as Kristen. That would be great.
Oh, you get your hair because you had it like crazy looking.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. You show it like if you showed up at my door to watch my son, I would be like, yeah, this ain't happening. Like I will let him stay with anybody, but I feel like you're gonna take him and do drugs.
Yeah. That's like, with two random guys. Yeah.
And your boyfriend's gonna come over. Y'all might go in my bedroom in the one house that Dharman has. At that point, like it's the one nice house that they go to. There's like two that they do.
Yeah, there's the rich one, there's the poor one.
They're rich and poor. And I like one more thing. I like what you said about the morals aren't that great. Because if you're a nerd, the nerd ends up getting rich. He's never just a likable nerd who never gets rich and is an average dude like myself.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing. It's like, always do this because there's a benefit for you at the end, as opposed to do this because it's the right thing to do. Be
nice. It's not hard to be nice to people.
No.
And don't take yourself too seriously. I've learned that. Like, just enjoy life. We got one life to live, right? Have fun. And be nice to people and treat people kindly. And what happens in the dark always comes to the light. I get sick of hearing that, by the way.
I'm not sick of it. It's all good.
Yeah, but what's the other line they always say in the every episode? It's oh my gosh.
You never judge a book by its cover is one. What's in the dark always comes to light. Oh, we're not just telling stories, we're changing lives.
That one, and so you know, is that no?
Oh, so you see.
So you see, yes. Yeah, and then they explain it. So they're explaining, like, I guess they assume I'm a moron, and they need to explain it.
Yeah,
so you see.
To be honest with you, one of the reasons those videos started getting successful in the first place was because people were They were written so basic that people were learning it to speak English or watching it to learn how to speak English.
Oh my gosh, like it's hooked on phonics? Like
Yes.
hooked on Dar? Where'd you learn your English? I learned it on Dharman.
Oh, no, legitimately. Yeah.
Wow. That is, imagine if Samir was teaching people how to speak English on his videos. They would they go fart, dookie. That would be their main words, like fart and dookie.
It's crazy.
And Totally Awesome would take you to the airport. They do a lot of airport videos.
They love their airport videos. Yeah.
They love the airport. They're like jazzed about the airport. So
very, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. Mair, this has been so much fun. I can't believe we chatted for an hour and 10 minutes.
This is great. You've been wonderful.
If you ever want to promote anything, please reach out. You're always welcome. You're a friend of the show now. You're officially my favorite actress.
Oh, thank you so much. This was great, Max. It was awesome meeting you.
He's sitting right beside me.
Oh, hey, yeah, I see his little face right there. There you go.
Yeah, he's so excited. He just, yeah.
Aw, well, yeah. So I would love to chat with you again. This was really fun. And if you want to talk to some other actors, I'll give you some info.
Please do. It's funny. I always ask people, if you know somebody, tell them they can come on. I enjoy talking. Nobody ever really takes me up on that offer, Mair. Why is that? Why do I have to do all the work all the time?
Sometimes people like to hold publicity to themselves.
Yeah, but I'm letting you. I would want anyone to come on and promote anything they got going on. I don't care. I just like getting to know people. That's why I started this, because I get to know people, learn about their life, and teach them lessons. So now you know, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Now you know.
I'm the Samir of podcasting. I'm just gonna do. Yeah, but you're always welcome. Yeah, if you know anybody, tell them to come on. That would be great.
Absolutely.
And bring your boyfriend on next time. We can talk about producing.
Oh, I will. Actually, he's very knowledgeable. If you want to do a episode based on producing,
let's have him come on. I would love to talk to a producer that produces stuff.
Yeah.
Pitch to him the Christmastown Sniper with you and Colin.
He would love that. He's a writer too. He might take that.
We might make a nice little trio here, Mair. I mean,
welcome to Hollywood.
I'm telling my wife right now, we're packing up tonight. We're driving to Hollywood. I'm quitting my job, and I'm gonna work at the McDonald's and wait on Samir to call me so I can do a Dookie episode.
I'll give you his number too. That'll be fun.
Oh, gosh. My wife, I will say, my wife can watch Dar, but when we turn Samir on, she's like, "Oh my god!"
She's like, "I'm just done. I can't."
Yeah.
No, Dar definitely has a certain production value to him.
He does, but Samir's funnier, but he's funny.
Wait, it's kind of like watching the BBC. You don't care that the production value isn't great. It's hilarious. So
you watch it for just the charm and the humor and the silliness, because nobody's taking themselves too seriously on there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Mair, this has been great. Again, you're always welcome. It's so nice meeting you. And
virtual high five, handshake.
Virtual high five. We will see each other again, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Mair. Bye now.
Bye.